everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle, Lord Tremendous, that's me, of the Warriors of Chaos, versus General Balance of the Empire. As always, not the name he gave his general, that's the name I gave him, and you'll see why at the end of the game. It makes perfect sense at the end. But yeah, it's actually a really good game. It's a really close game, an extremely close game. And yeah, you're going to see how it all works out. But before we get into that, take a look at this. That's right. This is my new beast. Back, I think it was like in November of last year, I listened to a podcast pretty religiously called Garage Hammer. I've mentioned him in a few of my, in all of my Army book reviews, but it's a really cool podcast. Couple of really cool guys. I've never met them, never really talked to them, just a few emails and stuff like that back and forth and on the forums, the Garage Hammer forums. But if you're looking for something to listen to that's all about Warhammer and some entertaining guys, go listen to them. They don't know I'm giving them this plug. I don't even know if they'd approve, to be honest. But yeah, they're cool. I listen to them a lot. I really do enjoy it. But anyway, they had a painting contest, or they had a contest. It had nothing to do with painting, sorry. They had a contest, and if you won, you got a model of your choice worked on by this pro painting service called Guild Painting Services. And you had to write this big, long thing, and if yours was chosen, you won, and mine was chosen. I won, which was really cool. And while I was gone, the monster showed up. I got a Mutalith painted by these guys, and as you can see, he looks amazing. So I'm now running a dual beast list, and it's poetry. It really is. But as you can see, this beast is just flawless. I really like having him on the table. I still got to base him and put my glossy coat on him because that's just something I do. I like the candy coat. It's just me. But check. I mean, these guys are cool, and if you're interested, there's their information at the bottom there. I'm gonna start putting this little picture on there until either they tell me to stop or I stop doing battle reports. But either way, take a look. This guy is great. I love this thing, and yes, you should check them out and Garage Hammer, because without them, none of this would be possible. Yeah, guys, go check them out. Anyway, here's my army list, slightly tweaked from the last time. I still have my Sorcerer Lord, Lord Tremendous. He's still the Mark of Tzeentch. He's still level 4 wizard. He's still on a disc. He still has the enchanted shield. What he has changed is his arcane item. The Skullicatom is gone, and now he has the Staff of Sorcery, because +5 to my Dispel attempts is better than a Dispel Scroll. So yeah, I'm relatively happy about that. I have the Talisman of Preservation, the Third Eye of Tzeentch, Flaming Breath, and he uses the Lord of Tzeentch because it's so good. My hero choices are an Exalted Hero, Lady Elizabeth. She's got the Mark of Tzeentch, she's a Chaos Steed, she's got a Halberd, BSB, Dawnstone, Helm of Many Eyes, and Poisonous Slime. And my Exalted Hero, Berserk, he's got the Mark of Khorne, he's got the extra hand weapon. His kit has changed slightly. He still has a Dragon Helm, but now he also has the Opal Amulet and the Potion of Strength. The Opal Amulet because a 6-up, it's not great, but it's not terrible. And I just, you know what, if he's going to get wounded, having that 4-up ward save to stop that one may or break him. We'll see. Potion of Strength, I'm pretty sure that's obvious. Strength 8 is much better than Strength 5, even if it is only for 1 round of combat, and Scaled Skin, so he could have that 1-up armor save and still keep his extra hand weapon. Last but not least is my Skull Caddy. This guy I'm on the fence about, I gotta be honest with you. He's literally a Skull Caddy. He's a level 1 wizard with the Charm Shield. I gave him the Skullicatom because I didn't want to take it out of the list, but I didn't want it on my level 4 sorcerer. And I gave him the Lore of Fire because I'm never going to cast a spell. Having Fireball or Fulminating Flame Cage or something like that would be cool. But I'm never going to use a spell because I have two, well, you'll see. I have the 2 beasts and I have the level 4 Tzeentch caster. That's where my power dice are going to go. So whether or not this guy stays in the list is probably pretty slim. My core choices are 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 19 Chaos Warriors, the Children of Tzeentch, with the Mark of Tzeentch, full command, hand weapon shield, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. And I've got a unit of 17 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide, with Mark Khorne, Halberds, Band Musician, and the Banner Rage. My special choices are 5 Chaos Knights, Elizabeth's Honor Guard. They got the Mark of Tzeentch, they have Ensorcelled Weapons, Banner Musician, and the Standard of Discipline. And of course, my 2 rare choices, the Mutalith Vortex. And not to be outdone, his partner in crime, the second Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beasts. And just a little sidebar, a little Easter egg, if you will. My wife is listening to me record all this and is rolling her eyes so fast I think she might be a little dizzy. Anyway, on to my opponent's list. Here's his army, his Empire army list. His general was a general of the Empire because just like everything else in the Empire, they're generic with their titles. He's got the Armor of Fortune and the Crown of Command. Really, he's just there to give the unit that they're in stubborn. I did not realize that. It's something that I've realized about myself. I always assume everybody's characters are unstoppable combat machines, even the wizards. So, yeah, I've really got to get over that. He's got a Battle Wizard Lord. He's a level 4 wizard with a Talisman of Endurance, Van Horstman's Speculum, or as I like to call it, the Identity Theft item, and he uses Lore Shadow. His hero choices are 2 warrior priests that are butt naked, a master engineer with pigeon bombs, a master engineer with hope in his hands, and a captain of the Empire who was his BSB, and he had a talisman of protection. Again, I wish I had realized that. We play closed lists, so it's totally legit that I didn't know that, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I gotta find these things out. I'm a little rusty after a 6-week hiatus, 7-week hiatus, however long it was. His core choices were a huge brick of 50 halberdiers with full command, 9 inner circle knights with banner musician and the banner of eternal flame, and his special choices were 30 great swords with full command and the razor standard because they're whores. And a bunch of rare choices. He had the Celestial Hurricanum, a steam tank, because even though there's only like 4 that work, every Empire army seems to have at least one. And 2 volley guns, because why not? I would. These are my spells, 4 from Tzeentch, 1 from Fire, and of course the 2 beast spells. And these are his spells. He didn't have the cards, or I forgot to take a picture of them. Pretty sure he didn't have the cards. So I give you this slide. He had Melikos Mystifying Miasma, the Withering, the Pendulum one, and Mind Razor. He also had the bounce spells on his warrior priests, but I have no idea what they are. And so I'm not going to write them down, because he didn't have to roll for them. It's just what he gets. Here's deployment. As you can see, it's for the most part straightforward, with the exception of I kind of have my beasts they're on opposite flanks of my knights. Of course, the original beast is way out there, and the reason I did that was to corner his knights because I wanted their toughness check to go off on these guys. I was pretty sure they were toughness 3, and so with my knights right there in the middle, I was going to bottleneck it so he couldn't charge my beasts, and then bring one beast around the tower, the other one pretty much right in the middle of the tower, and just throw both their spells at his knights until they were either no longer a threat or so little of a threat that the knight should have no problem mopping them up, run around the side and flank or rear those infantry units, run them down the side, and hopefully win. It also keeps the beasts and the knights away from his Hellblaster guns, volley guns, so if they do choose to shoot at them, they're at long range, and hopefully make it harder so that fewer hits. That was the plan. The Khorne warriors have the dogs in front of them because they were going to try to get the halberdiers to move or have him waste magic or shooting at the dogs, which I was perfectly fine with. My Sorcerer Lord was behind the stone, not because I was worried about his shooting or anything like that, but because I wanted him to think that I was worried about his shooting so that he would shoot at my Sorcerer Lord a lot when I took him away from being behind cover. And the Tzeentch warriors were going up the flank because I was either going to put them into the volley guns because I figured he would shoot at them since they were the closest target, or I was going to put them into the great swords because I figured they could take them. That was the plan. Here's my opponent's right flank. From left to right, you're looking at his 2 Hellblaster volley guns. The metal one that you can barely see behind the base-coated blaster gun there on the left, that's his Master Engineer that's got nothing but hope in his hands. Behind the other blaster gun, the metal model there, that's the Engineer that has the pigeon bombs. Right next to them are his big old unit of great swords with BSB and I think a warrior priest attached. And I think you can kind of see there his Celestial Hurricanum right there behind his BSB in the great sword unit. Next up, we've got his center. There's his huge brick of halberdiers with a warrior priest, his battle wizard, and his general of the empire. Right next to them, yeah, is the steam tank, because every empire army needs at least one, because they're apparently a lot faster outside of battle than they are in battle. And his left flank, which consisted of his inner circle knights, and I wanted to kill them. Here's my right flank, which consists of the original beast. Here's my center, from right to left. There's my knights with Elizabeth, my gilded beast, and my corn warriors with Berserk and the dogs in front of them. And my left flank with my sorcerer lord, Lord Tremendous, and my Tzeentch warriors with the Skull Caddy. Here's top of turn 1, and as you can see, I do not go first, which is fine. He moves forward for the most part. His knights come up a little bit. They know about the bottleneck. They can see the trap, but what other choice does he have at this point? I pretty much have those points, and I think he kind of knows it. His steam tank trundles forward. His boiler does burst, but he rolls the misfire where he generates D3 steam points, and that's it. His halberdiers come up. Everything pretty much moves, except I think even the volley guns move up a little bit so that they can get in the range. I'm not sure. There's this during his steam point generation part of the movement phase or whatever. He rolls a misfire right there, 2, and it's a minor issue. He ends up generating 2 steam points, and he uses them to move. So the steam tank doesn't do anything else. Other than that, I'm pretty sure his Hellblaster volley guns move, so they don't do anything. So we go to the bottom of 2, or I'm sorry, it should be at the bottom of 1 after movement. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, my notes are all screwed up. But anyway, my Sorcerer Lord runs over to the left flank to give his Hellblaster volley gun something else to shoot at. And if they don't, well, then I'm going to charge his closest volley gun next turn and try to kill off the crew so they can stop shooting at me. The Tzeentch warriors give him a juicy target. The dogs and the corn warriors move up slightly, not much, because I don't know what that steam tank's going to do. Meanwhile, I kind of bulk with my knights. I don't know why. Gun shy maybe. I don't know. The beasts don't really bother to move a whole lot. The blue one comes up a little bit to get in the range. The orange one is already in range, so I just kind of angle him slightly. But the knights I kind of bulk with. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I was nervous. I didn't know if the beast spells were going to do anything. For all I know, I was going to up their strength and weapon skill and lower their initiative and ballistic skill. I had no idea. So I bulked with the knights, and I really shouldn't have, and you'll see why. During the magic phase, I get an Infernal Gateway off on his greatswords right off the bat. I threw this spell out there just to pull some of his dispel dice so that the beast spell could do their work on the knights, and he let it go, or he failed to stop it. I think he failed to stop it. So I killed 7 or 8 of these guys, and they actually make their toughness check, so now they have a 6-up regen. But it's still kind of cool that I got that many right off the bat. I'll take it. Over here, the first beast gets his spell off on the knights, and I end up making them cause fear, but they have to take 5 toughness checks, and 4 of them fail. So that was awesome. Yeah, the knights fail their 4 of their checks, 4 of them just die, and the ensuing panic check makes them flee. They go 11 inches too. They flee with the thunder. And that was just outstanding. Unexpected, but imagine if I had been bold and moved my knights up. I could have gotten a hold of these guys in the top of 2, no problem. So, here we go. Here's top of 2 after movement. And for the most part, not a whole lot has changed. His knights do rally. We just don't see it in this one. Well, no, actually they fail to rally. They go 2 inches. They're not off the board, but they're right there. He was 3 once. It's ridiculous. The steam tank misfires again, and it ends up taking 2 wounds, but it still generates a ton of steam points. Not a huge big deal. It moves up slightly, and, well, you'll see. The halberdiers kind of stay behind him a little bit. The greatswords move up really, really fast, and the Hellblaster volley guns pretty much just get ready to shoot. So, yeah, it's more what you would expect. There's the proof that the boiler on this thing was definitely crafted by the guy with no eyes. He misfires twice in a row. He ends up taking 2 wounds onto the steam tank, and he generates 2 or 3 steam points. I don't remember, but he's got enough to do what he's got to do. It's a little ridiculous how it works, but hey, it is what it is. During his magic phase, he's able to get the 5-up ward save on his halberdiers. I let this one go because I just don't care. The halberdiers aren't my target for anything right now. During his shooting phase, the Hellblaster Volley Gun finally takes the bait and shoots at my Tzeentch warriors, killing 3 of them, which I'm okay with. Considering it took both of his volley guns to do that many wounds, I wasn't overly concerned. His steam tank ends up shooting his steam gun at the dogs. He uses like 3 steam points in order to do it. This is a bad picture of the placement of this thing. He actually does touch my, what's it called? My Corn Warriors with it. So, like, I think just 1 takes a hit, though. And as you can see right here, 2 dogs die, and they actually passed their break test, which I was fine with. And the one that he touched was Berserk. He made his lookout, sir, and the guy that dove in front of it took it to the face and died. So I lost a Corn Warrior for his heroics, which won't be rewarded because we're Chaos. We don't reward things like that. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and here we go. I charged the dogs at the great swords to get them out of the way so that the Corn Warriors could charge his steam tank, because I wanted Berserk and the Strength 5 Corn Warriors to get into the steam tank and start doing as much damage to it as they could so that it couldn't generate steam points very well. I sent the Tzeentch warriors into the great swords because, hey, it was time for them to die. I was not happy that the dogs actually made their charge. They were supposed to fail it. They needed a 10 and they rolled like an 11 or something like that. 10 or 11, they got it, was the point, and that kind of sucked. The Sorcerer Lord slams into the closest volley gun, not because it was much of a threat, but because I didn't want it to become much of a threat. And the Knights, since they're committed anyway, they move up towards the fleeing Inner Circle Knights, and so does my original beast, because I'm kind of committed now. Meanwhile, my Gilded Beast moves up to try to get his spell off on the Halberdiers. I was hoping for that number 6 spell, because that would be awesome. But really, it was my only choice at that point. And that's pretty much it. There's a better picture of the Sorcerer Lord slamming into the closest Hellblaster Volley Gun, and that's awesome. Right here, this is the picture of the dogs and the Tzeentch warriors make it into the great swords, which isn't quite as awesome. Not thrilled about that one. And there's a picture of the Corn Warriors slamming into the steam tank because I want to put as many wounds on it as I can before it can generate steam points again, because I didn't have confidence that he was going to roll the misfire 3 times. You know, I mean, I pretty much figured I had already got my birthday gift early. During the magic phase, I am able to get the beast spell off on the halberdiers. It's the number 5 spell, the template that wanders. And not only does this thing wander 6 inches completely off the path, but it misses everything. It lands perfectly so it doesn't touch anything. That's actually where it lands. Really upset on that one, because it could have been glorious. I could have hit like 21 of those guys. It would have been awesome. That was it for the magic phase. So we go into combat, and my sorcerer has no problem destroying the Hellblaster, and then overrunning into the next one, which is great because now those stupid things aren't shooting at me anymore. And just to add a little icing to my cake, the engineer with the pigeon bombs panics and flees. So yeah, the other one is fine. The one on the bottom there, this picture, he's fine. But the one on top, yeah, he's fleeing off the table. He only went like 3 inches. He's not overly motivated, but hey, he's fleeing, and that's what's important. During combat over here, my dogs die, as we all knew they would, and a bunch of my Tzeentch warriors, like 5 warriors, die. It was really disheartening. I flubbed my roll terribly. Out of the 13, 14 attacks I got into the unit, I only hit and wound. I ended up wounding with 1. It was really bad. I couldn't have flubbed any harder if I tried. And as you'd imagine, I lose combat by a boatload. I am not steadfast, and I break. I break and I flee, and I do get away by about 2 inches. So that's something, but it's his turn next, and he's going to make me flee through the impassable terrain. I'm probably going to get away, but they're going to be way out of place to do anything. Really sucks, but hey, if the dice are going to roll 1s and 2s for you, it doesn't matter if you're a demon prince on a dragon, right? Over here in combat, not great. I ended up doing a decent amount of wounds, but my opponent saved all but 2 wounds, so Now the steam tank only has 6 wounds left, so it's going in the right direction. I was kind of hoping to have it only with at 5, so I missed my target by 1, so I'm not discouraged. I feel good about this. It had no steam points, so it couldn't attack back. It's unbreakable, so it's not like it's going anywhere. But then I realized the flaw to my plan. His halberdiers can charge me. Crap. So, yeah, that was stupid on my part. I should have thought of that, but I didn't because, well, I don't always make good decisions. And I realize at this point that I'm going to pay for that, probably with this unit's life. So, here's top of 3 after movement, and like I had a crystal ball, he did exactly that. His halberdiers charge into my Khorne warriors and make it no problem. His greatswords charge my Tzeentch warriors. They flee through impassable terrain. I think I lose 1 or none, I can't remember. But it's not bad. We get away because we go through the impassable terrain, and life is good. His Hurricanum chases so that they can get that +1 to hit, and his Inner Circle Knights rally. So, good for him. Toi toi toi. There's a better picture of, oh yes, I almost forget, his steam tank once again misfires. Pulls off the hat trick, oh fail. And really all that ends up happening is he ends up getting like 1 steam point and he takes another wound. So he's at 5 wounds. I kind of got my wish. Also, yes, his master engineer who is fleeing flees another 3 inches. So it's not much, but he's going the right direction and I'll take it. Over here, or I'm sorry, here's a better picture of his huge wave of halberdiers charging into my Khorne warriors, and yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. And there's a better picture of the Tzeentch warriors fleeing away from the greatswords, and they make it, but, you know, now they're way out of position to do anything. And there's his Inner Circle Knights rallying, which sucks, because I really could use those points. During his magic phase, he's able to get the 5-up ward save on his halberdiers once again. And in combat, he kills every single one of my Chaos Warriors. I kill like 3 of his halberdiers, maybe 4. I do another wound or 2 to his steam tank. No, that's not true. I think his steam tank has 9 wounds on him. So he's hanging on by a thread. But steam tank's still alive. Halberdiers are mostly unscathed. And all I have left is Berserk, who needs Snake Eyes to stay, and he doesn't get it. He flees, but he does get away. The steam can't pursue because it's out of steam points, and the halberdiers can't pursue because they're not in combat with him anymore. That or he chooses not to. I can't remember which. Either one I think is pretty much legal, so whatever. That's what happens. Berserk gets away. And over here, the 1 ray of sunshine, my Sorcerer Lord is able to destroy the Hellblaster volley gun that he's in combat with and force the other engineer to start fleeing, which is awesome. So, we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and now my knights start to get bold and move up towards his knights because, yeah, idiot needs points. My Sorcerer Lord runs over to the side here to get behind the halberdiers because I want to kill the steam tank and start working on the halberdiers. My Tzeentch warriors and Berserk both rally, and my beasts get ready to try to just harass as much as they can. There's a better picture of Tzeentch warriors rallying, and thank God for that. There's a better picture of Berserk rallying, and really, that just means he's a corpse. Let's face it, either the steam tank or the halberdiers are going to charge him and murder his face. During the magic phase, the beast gets his spell off on the Inner Circle Knights, and it's the number 5 spell, and he actually rolls a hit, which is good. However, I don't think any of them actually take any wounds. No, I think he loses 1. 1 guy dies, it's not enough for a panic check, and that's about it, but hey, I'll take what I can get, you know? Over here, I get another Infernal Gateway off on his greatswords, and I think I kill like 6. It's not huge, but, you know, I'm nickel and diming him, and that's what's important. And then I get Bolt of Change off on his tank, and I wound, so it's dead, which is awesome. His halberdiers do make their break check, but that's only because the BSB was within range. That would have been cool, too, if the halberdiers started fleeing. I would really have enjoyed that. So we go to top of 4 after movement, and yeah, his Inner Circle Knights tried to charge my original beast, who fled, and thank God he did, because he'd have caught him. The beast ended up running about 8 or 9 inches, and he made it like by 2, so it was really fortunate that I chose to flee from that. He did try to redirect into the Knights and failed his leadership check, so they couldn't. His halberdiers slam into berserk, and it's all over but the crying there. And the greatswords, they turn around to look at the sorcerer lord, and the celestial hurricane moves up for whatever reason. Yeah. There's a better picture of his halberdiers getting ready to just murder berserk's face. And there's a better picture of my beast crapping himself and running away from the inner circle knights. Nothing happens in his magic phase. His shooting phase is negated, so we go into combat. And as you can see, Berserk gets his face murdered. I issue a challenge. He rejects it. I'm able to kill, I think, 2 of his halberdiers, 2 or 3. He didn't do terrible, all things considered, but when there's like 40 guys against 1, it's all over. Is actually, with the amount of attacks that he had that wounded him, I ended up just failing my armor saves, and Berserk died, so that was a shame. He ends up reforming after the combat and turning to face these Tzeentch warriors so that they can't get a flank on him, which I would have loved. However, once he turned like that, he turned his back on the Mutalith, so I was not going to charge the Tzeentch warriors. I thought it would be a terrible idea because of just the amount of attacks he'd get into the Tzeentch warriors, who already failed against much fewer attacks from the Great Swordsman. So the idea here was the Beast was going to charge into his rear and, maybe break him, maybe just make him turn around so then the Tzeentch warriors could hit him in the rear. That was the plan, and you'll see how it works. Because here's bottom of 4 after movement, and the Beast slams into the halberdiers. Once again, the only reason they stay is because the BSB is barely within range. They do fail their terror check, but then they re-roll it because they were like a half an inch in range at a BSB, and they make their next break check, which sucks. That would have been so much better otherwise. The Sorcerer runs over to the flank to harass his greatswords, and the Tzeentch warriors, they were going to try to charge the Celestial Hurricane, but when I measured the front of my Tzeentch warriors and the gap between the stone and the halberdiers, there was no way I could hit the Celestial Hurricane without hitting the halberdiers first. So I didn't. I couldn't make that charge. It was an illegal charge, so I waited. Meanwhile, my Knights charge his inner circle knights and make it no problem, and that's good because I need those points. And the original beast rallies, which I was very happy with. There's a better picture of the Gilded Beast getting ready to stomp halberdiers, which I was looking forward to. And there's a better picture of my Tzeentch Knights with Lady Elizabeth getting ready to get me those points with them inner circle knights, because I figured they were kind of pricey. During the magic phase, my Gilded Beast has the Celestial Hurricanum in his front arc barely, like that forward corner there, and I was able to hit and take about an inch chunk out of it. So he cast his spell on the Hurricanum, and believe it or not, the Hurricanum actually rolls 2 6s on his toughness check. It was 4. It was the one that bounces, but it didn't bounce. It didn't go to another unit. I rolled like a 2, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, he's able to put 2 wounds on the Celestial Hurricanum, which was awesome. Totally unexpected, but I'll take it. In combat over here, yeah, inner circle my ass. My Tzeentch Knights and Lady Elizabeth peeled them apart. I mean, it was great. I got the points that I needed. The original plan, while a little late, did work out in the end, and I'll take it, because points be points, Over here, the Beast kills a boatload of the halberdiers. I think there's like 40 left, or 30 or 40. I don't know. There's a bunch left still, but it doesn't matter because my Beast, I win by like 4. Doesn't matter. They're steadfast, and they make their break check no problem. And then they turn to face the Beast, and I was a little nervous about this one, but it was like, well, we'll see what we can do. Hopefully he'll hold on for one more turn, and my Tzeentch warriors can slam into the rear of these guys and maybe do enough damage to make them break. So we go to top of 5 after movement, and you're looking at it. None, really. My Knights... I'm sorry, I didn't go first. He did. Yeah, for the most part, nothing moves. His great swords didn't bother to move. His Hurricane, nothing moved at all. It was either in combat or dead, so 7. I don't know what to tell you. Potato? Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go straight to combat, and the Beast puts up a hell of a fight. He kills like 6 guys, but he takes 3 wounds. Yeah, he took 3 wounds. They had 1, 2, 3 ranks and a banner to my 6 wounds. I lose by like 1 or 2 or something like that, and it's enough. I do end up breaking. and I run like 4 inches. So his halberdiers are able to catch him no problem, which is unfortunate because the Beast actually had a great showing against the halberdiers. But it is what it is. You can't win them all. And we go to bottom of 5. Disheartened by what just happened, the Knights and the Beast run over to try to get a hold of the halberdiers because there's a lot of points there that I want. My Tzeentch warriors charge into the Celestial Hurricanum, and everything else is dead or in combat, so we move on. There's a better picture of the Tzeentch warriors slamming into the Hurricanum because I want it dead. During the magic phase, my Beast is able to get the number 5 spell to hit directly onto the halberdiers, which is great because, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 halberdiers die. They don't have to worry about a panic check yet, but it was close. But oh, that's a huge amount of dead guys. Love the Beast. Love the Beast. How could you not, right? Over here, I do another Infernal Gateway on some Greatswords and end up killing 3, 6, 7, 8 of them. So yeah, it must have been the turn of 8s. They end up failing their toughness check this time, and they take a couple. Some of those wounds are from the failed toughness check. But yeah, that was great because now there's only a handful left. What, like 8 or 9 Greatswords left? A Warrior Priest and a BSB. I wanted these points so bad because I need them. Losing those points for the Beast and stuff like that really hurt. During combat, the Tzeentch warriors are able to pretty much finish off the Hurricanum. I don't even have to pursue it. I don't overrun because I would have missed the great swords, and I didn't see any way they could get away from me at this point, and I wouldn't have run into them even if I had rolled boxcars. So I was waiting to see what I could do here, how he reformed and everything like that. So we go to top of 6, and as you can see, his halberdiers charge into my knights, and his greatswords turn to face my Tzeentch warriors, and that's that. There's a better picture of the halberdiers charging into my knights, which I gotta be honest, I thought might have been a little bit of desperation at his point. Not that I don't understand, I've been plenty desperate before in this game alone, but I thought he kind of gave me the game right here. My knights are rock solid. Lady Elizabeth is a man-eater, as you've seen in every battle report she's been in, which I think she gets that power from my wife. I'm almost positive, because I think the only reason that she's left me alive is because I entertain her. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, she is listening to this, in case you were wondering. She hasn't left the room yet, so if the battle reports stop, find my body, avenge me! So, yeah, that's a better picture of that. During his magic phase, unfortunately, I didn't think about it. He gets the 5 upward save off on his warriors after I stop a couple of other of his shadow spells, mostly the withering and stuff like, and the miasma. But then he was, with 1 die, he was able to get 5 upward save off on his halberdiers, and you got to give it to the guy. He pulled my dice, and then he got the spell that he really wanted off. It was well played. There's no shooting, so we go into combat, and it's as bloody as you think it is. I end up getting into a challenge with Lady Elizabeth with his Battle Lord because, well, his battle wizard, or I'm sorry, his battle wizard has that Hurricanum thing. I put a wound on the battle wizard, and I don't take any in return because Lady Elizabeth is a man-eater. I am able to put 1 wound on his general, and he loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys to my none. He loses this combat, but he's steadfast, and he makes his break check no problem. But again, it's going my way, so who am I to complain? So here it is, bottom of 6. This is for everything. So I charge. The Beast, the original Beast, goes into the halberdiers, and the Tzeentch warriors slam into the remaining greatswords, as well as my Sorcerer Lord, because I just wanted to kill the the greatswords. Didn't give a crud about anything else. I needed to kill the greatswords. There's a better picture of the Sorcerer Lord and the Tzeentch warriors going into the greatsword unit, because I needed to kill him. I just needed to. And there's a better picture of the original Beast slamming into the side of the halberdiers, and the idea here was to get them down to 1 rank if possible. Unlikely, I know, but just, hope against hope I can kill about 20 of these guys and make it so they're not steadfast anymore. Actually, I only need to kill 15, but you know where I'm going with that. Over here, I'm able to get treason off on the greatswords, and the idea behind that was now they can't use their BSB reroll. If I can make them, take a break check, which I was pretty sure they were going to have to, and he rolls a 9, 10, or 11, or a 12 even, hey, they're going to break, and he doesn't get the reroll. Gotta love treason. Had to stack the odds in my favor, The resulting miscast 6, I end up taking, or yeah, I end up not taking a wound for my trouble, but I do end up killing a couple of his great swords because of it. So that was pretty cool. And I end up losing the rest of my magic dice though, so they're gone. Also, during combat in the challenge, his BSB is able to myrtlate my Skull Caddy, no problem. And I get him down, as you can see here, to one greatsword left. I miss getting points for the unit by one greatsword. And when he rolls his break check, he rolls like a 3. Just heartbreaking. He makes his break check, like I said, no problem, and I'm out of those points. My last ditch effort failed by one greatsword. Really sucks. Over here in combat, it's the best parts of the Bible. I murder a ton of these guys, but it wasn't enough to make them not steadfast. I lose 0 knights and I take no wounds on my beast in return, but he's still steadfast and he still makes his check, and so I don't get any points there either. So there it is, the end of the game right there. I have a decent amount of stuff on the table, but he does too. So yeah, it was actually quite the shocker with this ending, but I'll get to that in a minute because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Token time, everybody. Tokens. Check them out. All the tokens you could need for anything that you could possibly play. Warhammer, Warhammer 40k, Infinity, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Infinity, Malifaux, whatever you need tokens for, Token Gal can make the tokens. They're dirt cheap, guys. No more than $8 for a set, but they're solid gold quality. I mean, these are glass beads. They magnify the picture and the words. You've got wound counters. You've got status effects. You've got spell effects. +1 toughness, -1 strength. You know, whatever you need. She's got all the magic lores. She's got everything you need for any system that you play. She's got a email address you can send and be like, hey, I'm looking for this. And now she has a website. It's there at the bottom. I'm not going to bother reading it off because if you can't read, what the hell are you doing on the internet? Just seriously, though, check her out. Check out her website. Order yourself some tokens. It's totally worth it. You won't regret it. Hey guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. In the end, after all the points were totaled up, and we totaled it up like 3 times each side, it was the perfect draw. We both earned 986 points from each other. Not one more, not one less. 986 points between us exactly. The perfect draw. I have been playing Warhammer for about 7 years now, and that has never happened before. I've been close. I've been within like 14 points of people before, but never the perfect draw. We were stunned. And it was epic. It was a really good battle, and I really liked the way it ended. Number one, because that's history. I've never, ever done that before. And number two, now I can't wait to play against them again so we can determine who really is going to win, because there's no closure here whatsoever. In the end, I ended up losing Berserk, Scroll Caddy, my Warhounds, the Corrin Warriors, the Gilded Beast, and that was it. I had everything else. He ended up losing his a Warrior Priest, both of his Engineers. They never rallied. They fled off the table. His Steam Tank, his Inner Circle Knights, both Volley Guns, and his Hurricanum. We totaled up the points 3 times, like I said, and it's just unheard of. Unheard of. That was just an epic way to end this game. I really enjoyed that. Starting to think that I might need to drop one of the beasts for extra fighting unit. I don't have enough to throw around. I started to realize in this game, once I lost the Corn Warriors and Berserk, I started to feel like I didn't have a hammer anymore. I just had like half of an anvil because the Tzeentch Warriors were beaten up, and the Tzeentch Knights were so far out of range that they were going to do like maybe one thing and then desperately try to get back into the fight. Having 2 beasts is cool. I really do enjoy it, but I'm starting to think at this point that I need to drop one in order to put some more fight into this army. As always, the Lore Tzeentch magic is just phenomenal. 3 Infernal Gateways on the Great Swords, basically taking them out and making it so that there was a really good chance I could have gotten those guys. Unfortunately, I missed just one in the end, but yeah, Infernal Gateway is devastating. The Bolt of Change, finishing off the Steam Tank. I don't know why I waited so long to do that. Stupidity, maybe. But yeah, I will. I love the Lore Tzeentch currently, so yeah. And how about that Steam Tank spoiler, huh? How many Dwarf players out there are shaking their heads and laughing, going, ugh, Empire Engineers, they shouldn't be allowed to call themselves that. They're Tinkerers! 3 misfired Steam Point generations in 3 turns, and then I destroyed it. Couldn't have done it without the Steam Tank taking like 4 wounds off of itself for me. So, yeah, that's something else, huh? The Great Sword unit being taken down to 1 last model at the end was the deal breaker right there. Took it from a solid victory to a complete draw. But you know what? In the end, just because now that it's happened, there's nothing I can do to go back and change it. I'm actually happy that it happened that way, because to have the perfect draw, especially recorded and then a battle report like this, totally awesome. All of you right now are going, are you kidding? No, I'm not. It's actually very cool that it happened that way. But it was an intensely fun game, and it had a historic ending. Congratulations. All of you that are watching this, you're watching history, because it'll probably never happen again. Or maybe once every 7 years. I'd be okay with that. So, you know, come back and see what's going on 7 years from now, and maybe I'll have another perfect draw. But really looking forward to the rematch on this one. This is actually the guy who plays Ogres. This is his second army. So I'm looking forward to the rematch that we have on this one. And yeah, hopefully it won't be a draw next time. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this battle report number 108. I hope you guys are still continuing to enjoy them as much as I am. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And as always, I will continue to get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.